beautiful beings. Welcome to another timeless tarot reading. I'm going to start by clearing the energy with my bell. I call upon my guides, my angels, my ancestors and galactic family, and the Fae kind of the highest love and light to channel through me the messages that this collective needs to hear at a time that it reaches them. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Let's see what is in store for us today. In general, I've been feeling a lot of rebirth energy, a lot of portal energy this May. That was fast. So first, we have the Sunn card. What a beautiful card. Now, at the time that I'm doing this, we just had a full moon. We have a 5/5 portal coming up. That should be on the day that I release this as the 5/5 portal. And this portal energy, this May energy, has been a lot of tapping into our abundance, tapping into our connection to source and the abundance that we deserve and that we're worth, and putting in the steps that it will take to get to that abundance, whatever that means for you. Whether that, excuse my throat, whether that is an abundance of love or peace or financial abundance, it really depends on you. But we have, I don't know, this sun portal energy. It's like as the sun is becoming, more of a main focus as we're entering the warmer months, it's allowing all these manifestations to grow, all these seeds to be planted and to nurtured. It's like this portal type energy, this sun portal energy, this optimism. It's like you're pouring any of your cup of doubts into your cup of faith. So you're moving from a mindset of doubt to faith and inspired action towards nurturing what you want to grow in your life. But there's so much floral abundance, there's so much optimism, there's so much joy, there's so much beautiful things for you on the horizon. And it's up to you to make the choice to maybe break down this wall or jump over a wall that could be, a wall of doubt, a lack of self-worth, and really verbally make the decision, I'm not going to be doubting my worth anymore. I choose my freedom, I choose joy, and I choose gratitude, because I find gratitude to be a very high vibrational energy that helps call in things that you may want that you don't have manifested just yet. But this grateful, this optimism, this trust in knowing that what you nurture will grow, will flourish. And so we want to be nurturing all the good, all the joy, all the optimism, all of our manifestations, new opportunities we want to pursue. It's like shaking everything up. You might be growing things you've never grown before. Ooh. Then we have 6 of Pentacles energy. And he's holding this balance. So I'm really drawn to, like the scale that he's holding. It's like a balancing of energies. Maybe a balance of, your own shadow energies with the light that you also hold within you. It's like this acceptance of there is going to be moments of darkness, but we're not going to let it permanently consume us, and we're going to find our way back to our light and to nurture our light and to give patience and healing to our darker, sadder parts, because they're valid and they need to be seen and heard and honored, so we can find our way back to our lighter energies. And he's holding like this beautiful branch that for me is like an olive. So it could be peace, or it could be, abundance, financial, romantic. But there's this, it's like you're growing things out of the palms of your hands, or like what you're touching or what you're seeding or what you're nurturing is flourishing, growing. There's a lot of generosity and compassion coming through. Like you love to give generous help and assistance to people, whether that's just kindness or advice or being a good listener, or, physically being generous with things you have to give. But it can just be like emotionally giving as well, and giving presence, just being there and being present with other people. But as much as you give, it's you need to be open to receiving. It's about opening our palms and being ready to receive, because we are generous and we are also worthy of receiving what we give. If we give kindness, if we give respect, if we give generosity, abundance, love, we're worth and ready to be receiving that. And we have to choose to receive that, because Source and your spirit team really wants to bring forth all this goodness for you. Like I'm drawn to all the pentacles. And it's up to us to step into that power of receiving, and that faith that it will come, and that inspired action towards what we want. It's a combination of things for those manifestations to come forward. It's faith, it's trust, it's gratitude, it's visualization, and it's inspired action. Like you want to message someone about a job and not just visualize a job. You want to make your applications, you want to reach out to people, you want to look at maybe different housing markets in different areas if you want to move. But there's this harmony and balance. And it's okay to give to others as long as you're not compromising yourself and there's no ulterior motives. Like as long as you're not giving to a point that it is depleting, it's okay to give. And I feel like one of the reasons you're meant to have abundance is because they know that you're going to share it. You want to share it with others. You want to be kind. You want to be generous. And I'm also feeling there could be like this personal peace coming through. And there could be a karmic debt that is over, that's paid, that's bringing this Sun energy. Like you no longer need to experience toxicity or lack. And you have to claim that. You have to say, I release these karmic ties, or I end these karmic ties, and I bring forth the good, the connection with everything. And there's this little animal that to me is giving assistance. So you could have support for whatever you're going through. It could be spirit team support, or it could be family or animal support, or support from nature. But you're meant to be supported and tap into that. And if it's something you're not actively feeling, I always encourage you to really tap in with your angels and your spirit team or your ancestors, whoever you feel connected to, and let them shower you with the love and support that you want to feel, because they'll come through for you when you meditate and really tap in. And I'm also drawn to like the green grass. It goes along with this. Like I feel like there's this lusciousness, and it's like he's gently stepping, and to me it's like the feeling of the grass is soft. It's like you're walking softly, not like you're tiptoeing on eggshells, but you're just walking softly and gently, and it's like your feet are feeling this warm, this tender, soft grass. So to me, it's kind of coming through as like, you're not meant to always be on a road that is hard and painful. You're meant to walk a road that is abundant, that is safe, that is peaceful, that is soft, that is kind. And that could also be the type of energy or soul that you are. You could be very soft-hearted, or, you know, just kind and generous and compassionate, and you want to grow and you want to see others grow and help them grow in the ways that you can. So I got this new Fae deck, and I love the illustration. The illustration's from the same person who created the Dark Crystal. I think his name's like Brian Ford or something like that. But I really connect to the art and imagery. So I'm really excited to use these cards because the fairies came and recently visited me. I'll be right back. I forgot to grab something. Thank you for your patience. I just wanted to show you the book by these two authors. Brian Froud, I guess, created the book, but this is a huge book. I've never seen a deck come with a book like this. And so I probably will tap into the book as well as what is going to come through for the cards, just because I want to see what perspectives was in line when the cards were written. So let's see. Wonderful fairies and Fae Kingdom. Okay. What messages do we have for this collective at this time? Okay, let's start with just these two. So, this first one is the Death card. And it doesn't really surprise me because the Death card was kind of an energy that maybe you were experiencing recently. But in order to create room for growth, we have to experience death. And the Death card is, to me, as much about rebirth as it is death. It is us uprooting. It's just like weeding out a garden before you plant new things, or continuously weeding your garden so that the weeds don't overtake your beautiful flowers or vegetables or fruits, right? That's like how shadow work is. We're constantly weeding what doesn't serve us so it doesn't overtake our light and our highest aligned path. And it's this constant work we have to do with ourselves to experience the flourishing flowers. We have to be weeding. We have to be taking care of all aspects of ourselves and not letting the negative weeds fully root in. So with this death card, like, they're really showing me just this weeding aspect of weeding out things that no longer are serving us, so we can make room for all these gorgeous, beautiful flowers and manifestations and things to come through. And the death is part of the balance. This Six of Pentacles, balancing of energies, balancing the old and the new, and the light and the dark, and making room for the new. I'm also drawn to this shroud. It's like they're covered in this death shroud. And it's like they're showing me you like ripping off the death shroud. It's like you were potentially being hidden in some way, or maybe you were hiding your own dark times, and then you are able to work through whatever you've been experiencing, and then you pull it off, and then underneath you're renewed, you're brand new, you're really shining your light. So for me, the death is never something to fear. It's always something exciting, because with the death, we're able to renew and rebirth and make room for all the new wonderful things that Spirit has in store for us. Because the world is meant to have your shine and let you shine your light, and to move through your dark times and shed your old layers. It's like the shroud is an old layer you're taking off and you're shedding. And it was interesting. I was shuffling some of the cards before I was recording, and the death card popped out, and I thought it was interesting, and I was like, oh, interesting. And I thought to myself, if the death card really wants to come out, it'll come out while I'm recording, and it did. So there's this release, there's this liberation. You're fully liberating yourself, and there could be an end to something, an end to a job that no longer suits you, an end to an old lifestyle that no longer suits you, or people who are draining you, or just thought patterns or emotions and trauma you're releasing, and when you're taking the cloth off, you're liberated. You're liberating yourself, and you have that power. So it's really time to let go. Like, this is permission to let go. This is permission to shed the layer so you can step into the sun. And there could be just a natural ending of things that is, just happening. And that's okay. That's okay. It's time to shed the layer. It's time to start moving in the direction of love and light, and start bringing that forward. All right, and then we have, I think that's the Glacier. But I'm drawn to this, there's a subtle face in the third eye area of this creature, and they have wings and kind of like a sly smile. And I feel like the face in the third eye is potentially, a true face, a clarity, because there's this feeling of illusion that's coming through. And there could be a little illusions, like glamour. Not like glamour magic that you're doing to attract things to yourself, a different kind of glamour. And I'm going to, tap into the book right here and see what the Glacier really wants to say. It says, have you ever noticed when we really, really want someone or something, we tend to see it without clarity? The object of our lust looks flawless, glamorous, which should tell us something right away, but it usually doesn't. The Glacier doesn't change his shape to tempt us with our own mental confusions or paradoxes. He simply wears a mirror in which we see our desires temptingly displayed. He doesn't try to fool us. He simply allows us to fool ourselves. Well, he may just try a little to make the test a little more difficult. After all, we can be more proud of passing a difficult test than an easy one, can't we? So it says, a little flattery and will believe whatever he wants us to swallow, especially since he is just what we want to swallow anyway. It's like a practice of emotional judo where he lets our own desires lead us into a fall. As we rush headlong toward our vision of perfection, he needed only step to one side as we cast ourselves at him, and down we go. Perhaps we might just learn something from it. So, this is he's kind of a warning, and I'm sure we've all done this at some point in our lives. That's why that third eye is the true mirror of what's going on and this illusion of what we want to see. And it's really easy to do this with people. There's this element of lust where you might be really attracted to someone, or, they're very charming and everything's great, and you just run head first with this person, and then you end up getting hurt. And sometimes it's because we're not taking it slow, and we're not really taking the rose-colored glasses off, or we're seeing what we want to see in them and not what actually is there presently. And it's a reminder to really be cautious and take our time when building anything, whether it's a relationship or an idea or a thing. We need to pause and take our time before making commitments. We need to read the fine print. We need to check out foundations or get a mechanic to test the secondhand car. Like, this could be a thing, where the car looks great and you really want this car because it's the make and model of what a car you really like, and you just jump to buy it because it's a good deal, and then you find out that there's some real issues under the hood. Or this can happen with people, objects, or even ideas where you run headfirst into an idea or a project without really thinking through the plans of it, of how you're going to be committed and execute it. And so we really just need to be careful and take our time before we, fully commit and put all of our energy and our resources into that thing. We need to make sure that that thing is good for us and it's not a trick or an illusion. Now, I think the fairies and a lot of fae creatures have this trickster, sly energy about them, and we talk to them about being trickster-like. And they're not really trying to be a trickster in a way that is going to harm us. They're trying to make sure that you take the time to look at things clearly. It's lessons, it's tests, it's making sure that you are able to see past the glamour magic, to see past the illusion. And sometimes the tests that this fairy kingdom can give us can really help us grow. Whether this is a test that you have already faced or something you might face soon, it's like this test and this illusion and this shattering. I feel like there's going to be a shattering of some illusion we have. And that will allow us to shed this layer that should not be there anymore and to see more clearly. Like with these two together, it's kind of like you might be seeing through this shroud, not seeing clearly or not thinking clearly about a specific thing or person or idea. And then once we take that off and once the illusion is shattered, we can make the careful action to plan steps to carefully walk gently towards these beautiful manifestations through this optimism. And there could be something about finding the light while you're still in the dark. Going through, a rough moment, a rough couple of days of feelings, and then saying, I'm going to choose to work through this. I'm going to choose to figure this out and not give up hope and trust that there is abundance on the way, and I have to walk towards it, and I have to be careful. You know, and nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself with love and compassion. But as the book said, like when you learn a hard lesson, you can be really proud of yourself. Maybe this is a lesson you've already learned, you know, and this shroud is off, and that's why you're walking straight towards balance and this optimism and great gratitude and abundance. You can find the gratitude for the lesson that you learned, and you can start walking towards what you desire and what, you know, you're starting to magnetize to you, becoming the sun yourself, becoming the magnet for all you desire by holding the frequency of gratitude and hope and optimism. Okay, I'm feeling this one. Ooh, interesting. I love how the cards come together from like all these decks to tell this beautiful story. So we have the AI, you know, and it says, I will be open to change and embrace a new perspective. And, you know, that's very true. There's so much out there about AI right now, right? There's like, some people are looking at AI through a lens of it's destructive and it's awful and it's going to hurt us, you know, or it's taking away our human creativity. And then there's other perspectives where it's like, well, it can help us with research breakthroughs, like with scientific breakthroughs, with analyzing chemical compounds and testing different theories in physics and things like that. So, you know, it's like, it's how we feed the machine and how we're looking at it changes what it's doing. So if you're using AI for good, for research, for helping the development of cures and energy and just all these new innovations we need in the field of medicine and science and energy, it can be a beautiful tool. But if you're using it to bypass your own intuition and to bypass learning creativity and skills and art and different things like that, it could be harmful if we're feeding it things. So that in itself is like, it's all different depending on your perspective, right? And you can see how our eyes are lighting up. And it says that you're open to embrace a new perspective. So again, it's like, you know, it's like your eyes are going to be opened, fully opened to seeing the reality, the truth, the clarity of everything. It could be things within your present reality, or it could be metaphysical things that you're seeing about, you know, potentially the other side or different dimensions. But you're going to be seeing everything from a new perspective. You could be seeing a really hard lesson that you have to learn as a perspective of like, well, now I know how to do a new skill. Maybe I've learned from that, and now I know I need to put time towards carefully checking over things before making decisions, or I need to look at this lesson as something that I've learned to change my perspective on how I look at things. You might be switching your perspective to learning your lesson and learning, okay, well, now I know what to do. Now I know that I need to step more carefully or pay more attention to something or treat myself with more love and compassion. And you can see now the optimism and the gratefulness, because in the moment, it's really hard to see that. In the moment where we're going through the crap, it's really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's really hard to see, like, how can this be beneficial? How can this be a lesson, right? But the more we work through those things and find solutions and clarity, which can take time, it will open up a new perspective to see all the beautiful things that Spirit has waiting for us. And it's up to us to heal, to grow, to learn our lessons, and to look at things with new eyes and new perspectives and maybe go about business differently, or relationships, or, just your own management of finances, to see, okay, we can do this. We can find this abundance. Oh my gosh. All right, so we got gratitude. Again, double gratitude. I think we're shifting from a perspective of maybe even focusing on the past way too much and letting it go and saying what's done is done. What can I do to build a better future? What can I do to build a better future for me, for my family, for generations to come, for the next year, for the next couple of years? Like, what foundations are we going to build now that we have found this new perspective of gratitude, of healing, of learning from our mistakes? And gratitude is also part of the sun energy. It's like once we shift that perspective, we're able to finally start seeing things in a new light and attracting things with a whole new light. And that can be self-love as well. You need to love yourself unconditionally. We all are going to make mistakes, and we're going to have trials and tribulations, but it's how we grow from them and shift our perspective and learn to embody this light and call in the flourishing success and manifestations that we will get and we're meant to have. And it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time to anchor all these things in. It takes time to nurture yourself and nurture everything you're trying to grow and create for yourself. But it's going to be coming. It's going to be in this season, and every small step we take towards creating this or anchoring this in, we will be rewarded with peace, with love, with gratitude. So I'm going to read the Aboriginal dreaming totem that goes along with this card. It says, loving yourself is the most important act we ever undertake. It is difficult to do, which is why many of us struggle. Yet those who find true love for ourselves experience a deep and powerful sense of self and need not look to others to understand and accept who we truly are. So there could be some self-acceptance going on for some of you, truly loving and accepting who you are, all the shadow and all the light, and all the healing and all the love, and breaking free. There's this breaking free from the old, breaking free from maybe old patterns of not showing yourself the love and not accepting yourself. And that can't exist when we're going towards the sun. We have to be loving ourselves and understanding and patient. Let's see, is there a message in this deck that wants to come through for this collective? Okay. Ooh, I love mantis beings. So the mantis, he says, enigma, elusive, sensitive. You could be a really sensitive being. That's what I was saying earlier about the way I'm drawn to how he's softly stepping on the grass. Like, you could be a soft, sensitive soul. And so, maybe some of the lessons you've learned or illusions that have shattered have really hurt you because you're so in touch with the feelings of others, the feelings of animals, of plants, of yourself. Like, you could feel everything extremely deeply. The mantis beings are highly telepathic beings. They're very empathic beings. They can feel and hear a lot of things, and it can be overwhelming. And it's the learning on how to, manage that in a sense, how to not always be overwhelmed. strategies, coping strategies, and strategies to protect yourself. And he's holding this cup. To me, it's a cup of fulfillment, a cup of abundance. It's a cup that we've poured our doubts into, the faith cup that's coming through again. And I'm drawn to these bubbles, these bubbles of light, these spheres of energy. And maybe it's energy that you trail when you walk. Like it's like you leave this beautiful energy wherever you go, because your energy is so beautiful, is so shining, is so warm and lovely and generous that you just leave these little bubbles of love and light where you go. And that could make you become a little elusive, a little hermity, because if you're really sensitive to everything, it could even be a neurodivergent thing where you're like super sensitive to sound and, overstimulation. Sometimes you need time to withdraw, and that elusiveness allows you to really heal and take your time to really love yourself. And maybe you're learning to love and accept the neurodivergence part of you, or this galactic part of you, or these spiritual gifts you have, I don't know. I'm being a little called to see if this oracle has any extra meaning for the mantis beings. Let's see if I can find them in here. So, it says, some consider the mantis beings to be one of the most mysterious. It is said they originated from the Virgo constellation in the Sombrero galaxy, some 29 million light years from Earth. Certain factions also reside in the Draco constellation. The mantis beings are bipedal, standing up to 10 feet tall, with additional joints in their long, spindly limbs. They have an exoskeleton that ranges in colors from greens to browns to blacks. They have a very insectoid in appearance, similar to Earth's praying mantis, with several additional joints. They are sometimes associated with abduction and contactee phenomenon, and reports claim they have an oily covering substance on their body for reasons that are still speculative. So in ancient Egyptian, Aboriginal, and African mythologies make references to these beings. Reports say the mantis beings cultures reveres the matriarchal social structure, and that they honor subtle feminine receptive frequencies to maintain a heightened, tuned-in awareness. So I want to pause for a second, because that is really hitting home for me. The matriarchal social structure, this honor and subtle feminine energies, these receptive frequencies to maintain a heightened, tuned-in awareness. That brings me to this perspective, this AI card, this awareness, this feminine awareness you might have, this tuned-in frequency. And this awareness allows you to see things more clearly and shift perspectives. And this receptive frequencies is like you're becoming receptive potentially to external information and external guidance from the other side, from your spirit team, but also being receptive to the abundance that you desire and that you are very worthy of having and receiving. You are meant to receive. And it says these essential practices are carried through the mantis beings' cultural ceremonies to remain a highly evolved civilization. They are telepathic and like the blue avians. They have a highly sophisticated, sentient, spherical orb force field technology for interdimensional time travel. So maybe these orbs are not just that, like everything has multiple meanings. So yes, this could be a trail that you leave because of your light and your just frequency. You have a very beautiful frequency that I'm tuning into. It's very lovely, it's very sweet, it's generous, it's calming. But this could also mean that you have the ability as well to interdimensionally travel. That means you could be having dream walking, where you're going other places when you're dreaming, or when you're meditating, you're able to travel to different periods of time. Maybe you can do past life retrievals, or a past life ceremony retrieval might be really good for you, or a meditation, or you're just an interdimensional traveler, or you might have those abilities. And maybe if you haven't tapped into those abilities in this lifetime, it could be a call to, or could be something that you have really honed in over lifetimes. And it's up to you to tap back into those gifts. But they're a very highly spiritually advanced species. So this can really be a sign of your, higher vibration, your open-mindedness, your foresight, and you're worthy of being celebrated, and your accomplishments are worthy of being celebrated, even if it's something small, something that's coming through for me. You just shedding a layer, you just entering a rebirth, you overcoming a lesson or a challenge, those are things to be celebrated. Every time you learn, every time you overcome, a dark time or a hardship, you are learning, you are growing, and you're becoming stronger and wiser. And you can celebrate that. You can celebrate the little wins, because you deserve it. Oops. I don't know how that card got mixed in with there. I'm just going to shuffle these up. And this is my Lemuria deck. If you guys have been here, you know that this deck prefers to be laid out instead of shuffled, and they're also just super thick. So let's see. Let's see what ancient Lemuria has for us. Okay, just gonna pull that one. So it's definitely, I feel like, a time for you to really step up, to step into this higher version of yourself, this cosmic being, this connection with source, this perspective of grace and gratitude for yourself and for what you've overcome and experienced. To be gentle and kind. As I'm saying that, I flip the card and whoop-de-doo, it's loving compassion. And to me, it's like, when you see the beauty of this card, that's the beauty that you have in your frequency. When you are loving, when you are compassionate with yourself, when you have gratitude for every little thing you've overcome and come over, like you've overcame, and it's like this magnetic light. It's all these colors of the rainbow. It comes out in all these different arrays of love, of light, of frequency. And you could be weaving sacred geometry and upgrading your own light body when you give yourself compassion, when you give yourself grace and forgiveness and love, and we don't beat ourselves up when we didn't learn something the first time, or we learn a new lesson and be like, oh, I'm so stupid. Don't say that. You're growing. You're learning. You're human. We are human. We came here to have a human experience because, when we're in our infinite light state, we have access to everything all the time, and it's really hard to learn like that. So we come to incarnate, to learn hard lessons, to learn humanness, and learn how to live with this balance of these lower vibrations and higher vibrations, and how to manifest in the highest density, or the lowest density, I should say, which is the hardest, because we're in not the lowest. I guess there's lower densities, but we are in a lower density compared to a lot of other galactic family members. And so they actually revere us as being quite brave and very honored because we're choosing an experience that's not easy. And we're choosing to find our love, to find our gratitude and our new perspective after we forget everything, and manifesting and finding optimism and gratitude. That's no easy feat. And you should really, pat yourself on the back. Because you're here, you're living, you're breathing, you're doing it, you're overcoming things, and you're tuning into your gifts, you're tuning into your light and your compassion, and you're just gratitude for the lessons, for this life here on earth, for the breath, for the air, for the trees, for everything. And then you'll be rewarded. Like, we're going to be entering a new season, a season of love, a season of abundance. And it might take several months before we see the final product of our nurturing, of our self-nurturing, nurturing our bodies, nurturing our soul, nurturing our mind, giving ourselves love, compassion, and anchoring in that optimism and the gratitude and faith. And then things will sprout before we know it and surprise us in ways we didn't know we were going to be surprised in. It's like you're going to be growing things you didn't know you seeded. Like, maybe you know, but there's a whole subconscious thing that is 10 times better. Like, maybe you planted, this is metaphorical, a beautiful pink flower that you think is one shade, and then it grows and it's a totally different shade that's even more beautiful and lovely than you could have imagined, or from what it looked like on paper. You're going to be growing things that are going to surprise you with their beauty. And we're walking towards this sun. It's like you're going to be diving into this portal. And I encourage you to continue being gentle and caring and compassionate with yourself, because you deserve all the love and light. Thank you so much for being here for this reading. If any of it resonated with you, I love to hear in the comments. I love to read them. So thank you so much.